Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown, along with Ryan Graham.
Hey, y'all.
And Tim Thurber.
Evening.
And this is State of Atlanta. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for being here, as always.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yep.
I can hold up all three of my open beers because of our take two here.
Well, the illusion's the illusion's a little ruined here. Just as a reminder for those listening, we are still doing this remotely, so we're doing video calls, which means I'm putting it up on YouTube as well, so you can see us if you want to do that. Go to stateofatlanta.com and find the YouTube link, or just go to YouTube and search State of Atlanta. But yeah, so normally when we do this, we're all drinking beforehand, so we have like another beer ready just to crack open, and so we have like two beer at a time. Well, I messed up and didn't hit the record button, so now we both have, all three of us have two beer open, and a third one we're drinking. So you can tell we're drinking. Well, I've been drinking beforehand, so
I've had a few.
So
Whether two margaritas.
Were those to-go margaritas, or did you make them yourself?
It was a mix to go from Taqueria del Sol, and tequila is here.
Oh, okay.
They're not as bold as other restaurants, just serving people alcohol in solo cups. And
yeah, no, that's awesome. I did that. I can't remember if I talked about it last week or if I did it since then. But yeah, we went and we got dinner at a Mexican place down the street and two margaritas to go. It was great getting in the car with 2 cups of margarita just sitting there. Yeah. I hope this Lent stays over. I hope that they actually continue allowing people to bring booze home with their to-go orders, even get it delivered that way. They were already talking about it. Mayor Bottoms was talking about allowing like grocery store delivery to allow for beer to be part of it, beer and wine. So this seems to be working pretty well. Nothing's getting crazy out there. Let's keep it going, right, Atlanta?
You'd think so.
I'm with it. Sure.
Yeah. All right. So how's other than that, how's everybody holding up in the quarantine lockdown thingy? You surviving? Stir crazy?
I really want my child to be at school during the day.
That would make it much easier, yeah. Our daycare did announce that they are down for the count. But they told us that we can pay whatever we want to pay. If we can pay the full amount, pay it. Or if we can't, then don't. I'm like, that's a really easy decision.
We're still paying full amount, but it's required.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're paying half. I figure that's fair. They're not paying the bills right now, so.
Well, yeah. Well, that depends. So that's our thing. Is the city owns our building, the building that the preschool's in, and they have to the city council has to vote on whether or not they don't have to pay rent. So it's slow. I've already messaged my city council person, and they said, yeah, it's in the works, but you still have to vote on it. So.
Right, because of the procedure and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll give us a prorated rent back, but they're still paying their teachers, which I like. So I'm like, all right, if I can afford it, why not?
Yeah, I'm not sure if my teachers are in this country legally, but that's neither here nor there. So
they do good work, though, right?
What's that?
Do they do good work?
My kids are live every time I go to pick them up, which, I guess that depends on what you want out of your daycare, right?
Really all you can ask for.
I kind of like the kids being at home. They get in everyone's Zoom conferences, video or audio.
Tim doesn't have kids.
I don't.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just watch them on Zoom.
My wife was in a conference call today for a 2-hour call. I got one of 2 2-hour calls she had today. And one kid was asleep, but the other just wanted nothing but mommy the entire time. So it was entertaining hearing it from the other room, even though I was getting in trouble for not keeping the kid in check the entire time. But whatever. So, yeah.
You can only do what you can do, man.
It's a little stir crazy here, I guess, in general. Kids.
Everyone's still employed?
What's that?
Everyone's still employed?
For now, yeah.
That's all I can ask for.
I did get that email yesterday from work saying, what are you working on? I'm like, oh, no, I'm working on stuff. I promise.
Yeah, my work made us start making us do this daily spreadsheet where we talk about how many, where we are with everything, and it's like this overhead that I just don't need. But
well, yeah, like I was telling my wife today, she had 2 2-hour meetings. How are you supposed to get anything done having 2 2-hour meetings and conference calls or video calls and everything?
It's a lot more meetings right now. I feel like people think that you have to have the touches to get anything done, but I'm not getting anything done. Yeah.
Yeah, my company, my department would do a status meeting once every other week, and now we're doing 2 a week. So that's.
I have them every day.
Yeah, so does my wife. Yeah, and obviously multiple a day, but that's that agile stuff and everything.
Yeah, stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That should be 15 minutes.
It
Yeah.
should be 15 minutes.
Should be. Well, let's get on into this quarantine, lockdown, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, whatever socially acceptable to call it. How it affects college sports, specifically our
what college sports?
Girls and blue and
what?
white.
We have college sports now?
No, we do not. That's the problem, right? Again, I don't want to get political about anything, but Ryan, give us this week's update on Liberty.
There is none.
We go live to Ryan Graham for the Liberty update.
Oh man!
You get an intro video.
Oh well, they're getting sick up at Liberty.
Yeah, they allowed back I think like 2,000 kids or something, and half of them are have already left or something. I didn't read the article. I'm a headline person and just.
Well, when it has to do with Liberty, it makes sense that you don't want to delve too deep into it. But yeah, the headline was pretty descriptive, right? We let people come back and they're sick.
Yeah, including professors as well, right? So.
Yeah.
God did not protect them.
It's just weird because only like 3% of their students go in anyway. So.
Yeah.
I took your joke, Dave.
they don't have the coronavirus. They have like a computer virus. That was bad. I got nothing. From that, so I guess one of the big things, at least for me this week, was we've talked about this in the past couple of weeks about whether or not college football would be impacted by this whole thing. And we all kind of laughed it off. At least I laughed it off at the beginning. But now there's a lot of people coming out, maybe a little sensationalized, but saying that, yeah, it's a really good chance that college football could either be delayed or not happen or shortened or something like that. And I'm like, what a great time for us to have started a weekly sports, college sports podcast heading into the off season. Like we knew it was gonna be a little difficult to find things to talk about from April through August, but wow, April.
The stat I saw was that like a fifth of college coaches said that they said there was a 50% chance we wouldn't have it. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, I got that.
That is that
the overly sensationalized Brett McMurphy tweet where he said 1 in 5 ADs say that there's a 50% chance or worse of the season not happening, or whatever. So, but then you go back and you look at the actual numbers and read his article. There was only 112 ADs that responded out of the 130. And then there was, just 20% of them that said, like, basically he said, rank whether or not you think that the college football season takes place as is, like 1 through 10. And so 20% of them said 5. So 50% or below. Everybody else was above that. There was nobody below it. And so 80% of the ADs think everything's going to happen as is, or is going to, maybe be delayed, or you don't play your out of conference schedule or something like that. But I don't. It's the Sun Belt ADs were talking about that as well, saying that not playing the out of conference schedule is a possibility, which makes no sense to me whatsoever at all.
Like why would you even limit it? Like what sense does that make?
And how does a conference even have the say so to tell a school that they can't play a game that's not conference sanctioned whatsoever at all?
Yeah. And we need that money. Like every team in the conference needs the money.
Exactly. Absolutely. And then also you look at outside of Sun Belt, all those big high profile P5 out of conference games that kick off the college season, the Alabamas and the Texases and all the Georgias of the world that play those big games for big money, for big TV. And they're not going to not do their out of conference schedule because of this. I mean, maybe delay the game. It goes a following week, or if it's pushed into the season. That's actually something I think would be kind of cool. If the season just gets pushed back like 2 months, like college football doesn't start until like October or November, and now we have like a national championship coming in March or April or something like that. It would just change everything so much.
Yeah, it'd be wild.
It'd be neat. I don't want there to be any delay. I don't want it to mess up anything. But how cool would it be to have March Madness happening in June?
There'd be some really cold games.
Yeah.
We'd be dipping into like February, which is typically in Georgia. Like
it wouldn't be that bad here. It wouldn't be that bad here if we played day games. It'd be cold, probably rainy, but nothing horrible. Nothing we didn't do last season 3 times.
No, I mean I think February is generally like when we get snow and stuff.
If we get snow, we didn't get snow this year at all.
Yeah, typically.
We could have a snow game. That'd be awesome.
That'd be rad, man.
Yeah, we'd probably have App State in that game, but we play App State.
Call timeout for the half.
Yeah, that's funny. We could App State, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So we, you mentioned earlier the fact that we started this podcast at a hell of a time, and I was on a political podcast this week, and they were like, "What are sports radio people doing?" And I was like, "Well, funny, I have a little insight. We're talking about tweets." Well, I don't know what you want.
Well, obviously these are people that are not sports fans because, you know, even during the off season, there's the weird reporting, which mascot could beat the other mascot to be like the mascot champion. And you always get some like small weird school that couldn't ever win a game that wins the whole thing because they have like a dragon as their mascot.
Well, at least one of the people on the other podcast lives in or near Bullock County, so you know there's only one sport.
That is, I don't know what Bullock County is.
That's where Statesboro is.
Oh, I didn't know they had a county. I didn't know they were that civilized. I thought it was like unincorporated Georgia.
Nah, it's a thing.
Had COVID yet?
It's dumb. I mean, it's not fancy like DeKalb or Fulton.
Yeah, Bullock.
Oh, it's Bullock, not like a bullet, like Bullock.
No, I said Bullock.
Like Sandra Bullock or something. Did they name it after Sandra Bullock?
Maybe, probably.
Makes sense. You know.
Do they have COVID-19 there yet or no?
Oh, they have like 34, man. They've blown past 19.
Yeah, they're freaking out. Yeah, there was like one. I guess there was like one doctor who said there may be a case. It was unconfirmed, one of those presumed positive type things, and everybody flipped out.
Well, what I heard was that there was one case, but there was a bunch of people that were really freaked out about it because that one case was a goat, and there was a bunch of Georgia Southern fans who were freaking out they were going to catch it.
Close contact.
Way too close.
True story.
Yeah. So
you said one thing though, David, that really scared me.
What's that?
You said not have college football.
No, right?
I will freak out if that happens.
So Kirk Herbstreit is the one that said to prepare ourselves for no college and no NFL football this season.
Yeah, but I think any self-respecting citizen of Georgia knows that Kirk Herbstreit is an idiot. So. Yeah,
I remember one of the few times that I actually went to New Orleans. I went down there for the national championship when Virginia Tech played Florida State, which I think we talked about on here before, when Michael Vick was the quarterback for the Hokies and everything. And that was kind of like me getting into college football because Georgia State didn't have football. I didn't really grow up in a family that followed college football. So I'm kind of walking through Bourbon Street and everything, and there were just signs the girls had hanging out over the balconies in Bourbon Street saying, like, I will marry you, Kirk Herbstreit. I'm pretty sure he was married at the time. So he has a faithful following of some people.
He was Ohio State, right?
Yeah, he's Ohio State.
Yeah.
Quarterback.
There's people that like that.
Yeah. Ohio State, they've got a few fans.
Yeah.
They're no not fans. No, Tim, I agree.
At least as many as we do, right?
Exactly. Well, we have as many fans, right? Yeah, they have as many fans as we do. They definitely have as many fans as we do, maybe more.
Maybe.
No, but Tim, I agree. I do not see no college football season. I could see a shortened season or a delayed start to a season.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was talked about with college basketball before they shut it all down, was to play the games without anyone in attendance. And at first I thought that was totally a stupid idea. But after being here 23 days without any college or any sports to watch at all, I will watch a game with nobody in the stands. Like the TV money is all it really counts anyways, right?
Yeah.
The attendance, the season ticket stuff, that makes some money for the bigger programs maybe, but for most of the programs, it's the TV money is all that matters.
I don't know. I saw in the article where they were saying, I don't know where I saw it. I probably saw it on Twitter because I didn't read the article. But they were saying that if they had to cancel the season or push it back or anything like that, then they would have to literally cancel some Olympic sports. They just wouldn't be able to fund them anymore if they got rid of a football season or
right. That was an Advocate article. At least that's I think it was an Advocate article that I saw with the Sun Belt athletic directors. I was going to talk about later on, but.
Oh, sorry.
No. This makes sense to flow right into it. Yeah, so it was interviewing the ADs about how this impacts everything. And yeah, so they get a lot of money from these different sports, specifically basketball. March Madness like funds most of the Olympic sports for the college athletics. So if you don't have that, I think they said it was something ridiculous. It was like just March Madness is like 60% of the NCAA's revenue. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm saying that number. It was more than half. It may have been 80%. It may have been 51. But I remember it being more than half. So yeah, you could actually have programs that get shut down because of it. I don't think that's going to be an issue for Georgia State to worry about. I just can't imagine it being a problem. We'll just sell like a few square feet of our real estate of Atlanta, and that'll cover all the sports. Actually, Cobb in the article said that we'll probably save over $100,000 and not sending players out on the away games and everything this season. So,
well, for spring sports, definitely,
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that like, it always comes up when people are talking about how, college athletics is in the red or and things like that. They don't mention a lot of times that football and basketball are generally in the black for most programs. They do well. They are positive revenue generating sports. And
for your P5 programs, and then for your blue chip G5 programs, that's absolutely the case.
I think most of your G5 too.
I don't think that Georgia State football is funding the beach volleyball team whatsoever at all.
Well, we have fees. So
it's a kid taking his intro to accounting. He's paying for beach volleyball, right?
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah, that doesn't apply to us. But I don't know anything about the finances of Georgia State whatsoever at all. I guess the numbers were posted on Panther Talk this week or last week. And
such a good pack.
We spent every dollar that came in, which is just clever accounting to be like, yeah, we're not going to tell you how much money we really have because we're going to find a way to spend
all of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, to me that means they spent more than they actually had, and then they just increased the amount that they had artificially.
Or they brought in more than they spent, and then whatever overage went for some particular new project that maybe has not even got off the ground yet.
Maybe.
So the money we're saving by not sending people to away matches will magically disappear.
Well, we're not sending them, so yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't imagine it costing us any sports. And somebody that's more in the know could probably tell me how stupid I am for thinking that. But I don't see it being a thing. They asked Charlie about that, and he was pretty much shut it down immediately and said, I'm not going to get into politics of this. I'm not going to talk about things that we have no clue what's going to happen right now, which is a great, not coach speak, but a coach speak kind of answer, a politically correct answer to the whole thing is I can't tell you that, we're going to be shutting down women's tennis because football can't play, the Alabama game,
right?
Something like that. But
we could use that $100K for arena improvement or to fund a baseball stadium, Brian.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there we go. Well, so that was one thing that I thought was kind of cool. I put down to talk about at some point. Well, it was just a one-liner, but I think it was Troy. So I guess there's actually some schools in Sunbelt where baseball has got a big ticket item and they sell season tickets, like Louisiana and apparently Troy, but like us, Southern, and a few other schools don't really do that. It's just like, no one's going to pay to go to Andersville at all. That's not happening.
No.
But what Troy did was they're calling up all their baseball season ticket holders and they said, you can either use this money as credit towards next season or just make it a donation towards the baseball program. And I think it's a pretty smart way of doing it. I think we probably would have refunded everybody without saying a word. But
yeah,
but
if I was offered, I would just make the donation probably.
Yeah, I've already budgeted out my basketball tickets, or whatever the ticket is, the $180 a season, or I don't know what it is. And if this happened earlier in the season, they said, do you want to roll this over next year to use it as a donation? I'm like, well, I've already budgeted it out, so just donate it. I'm helping out the program. I thought that was pretty smart of them to do.
Definitely.
Yeah. I don't know if we would have done that or not.
Hard to say. Till we're in that position,
Yeah. No, exactly. And it was a good idea. I liked it.
But, speaking go ahead. Yeah, you too.
I was going to say, we had something like this with, what was it? The game canceled for the hurricane?
Oh, the Memphis game. Well, our game wasn't canceled. Memphis just bought us out of our game.
Right. But they did something for us. Like you could get the money and apply it to something else.
Yeah, it was apply it towards next year's season tickets. I don't think there was just a add that to your pack donation, roll it into your pack at all. That was
I don't
not
think so.
Right? I'm still bitter about that game, by the way. I don't like
Me
that.
too.
We did do something with it, didn't we? Like spend the money on something stupid like that, the truck that drove around with the upset game playing, or we did. We did. Cause I remember Charlie saying, well, "We got an extra $850,000, so might as well spend it on something." I don't remember what it was.
A baseball field?
That would be great.
That would have been nice.
But speaking of which, how is the GoFundMe for the flags going?
In light of everything that's been going on and the fact that we've not gotten pictures of something, I forget what I was looking for. We have not set up the GoFundMe for that, but I feel like people right now that are going to donate money are probably going to donate money towards some people maybe
That need money.
they need the money or need some other priorities right now.
Are you admitting that flags are not the priority for most of people?
I'm admitting that donations to an athletic program probably do not take precedence over those that are handling people that are getting sick or those that are just keeping the economy trucking along while we're while we, the three of us, are sitting at home drinking beer, talking about what we're going to be doing in 9 months athletically, or not athletically.
Athletically, yeah.
In an abundance of caution, we're holding off the GoFundMe.
I could guarantee that there would be at least a person who would give $100 to building the new baseball stadium and not the flag.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's that's going to be Ryan, because Ryan only supports the athletics that he likes, not the athletics he doesn't like. So.
Oh, wait. Let's be real here. I like football. I don't even like baseball that much.
You just want it because you live there.
I don't support flags. What do you want from me?
Ryan likes 9 men in pants standing outside of his house more than he likes girls in short skirts running along with ginormous flags.
Wait, do they not run around anyway?
No.
Yeah, they do. They run anyway. They just don't run with a flag.
They're missing out on their cardio activities.
They're out there the whole game, regardless.
They're not getting that 100-yard run 18 times a game because that's how many touchdowns we're scoring this season, right?
Yeah.
So I have a new stat for our program.
Yeah, we instead of getting flags, how about we get Fitbits for the entire cheer squad to find out how many steps they're getting with and without flags.
No, not that stat. Since we've retired basketball, right?
Yeah.
Our new stat is the number of days before college football kicks off.
Oh, I like it. So give me that number. You're going to own this one.
Yep. We got 151 full days before it kicks off. Plenty of time to get over COVID-19.
Well, so the problem is, according to, who was it? Brian Kelly, the Notre Dame head coach, is that if they can't get started before July 1st, because everyone's like, why are we so worried about something that happens in late August, early September, when we're sitting here and, like, for us recording today, March 31st, we have all this time. There's several months between these two. No, there's the conditioning that happens beforehand, all the spring training. We have missed the spring game. It's supposed to be this Friday. There's other stuff that has to go on for these guys to get ready for, which I kind of get it from, like, the NFL perspective, because it's the union and they get to control all this different weird stuff about how the players get to do everything or have to do everything. But in college athletics, man, when you're not in class, when you're not at school, when you're at home, you better be on the treadmill. You better be pumping iron at the Planet Fitness on the street, or
those are closed,
or go find some buckets and put some water in them and turn it into a weightlifting thing. These guys should not be showing up, in the middle on July 1st, fat and flabby. Maybe they're not in peak performance. Yeah, they still be in pretty good shape, especially knowing what's going on right now. And there's no way that the blue chips of college football, the strength and conditioning coaches are not on the phone with these guys as far as how they're allowed to talk to them with NCAA. On the phone, like, all right, what did you eat today? What are you eating? How are you working out? What's going on? They're talking to them. They're keeping them up on everything. They're they're probably spending more time talking about what they're eating and how they're working out than what they're doing for their classes and everything.
And if everybody's like the equal amount out of shape, then it's sort of like an equalizing force anyway. So like, who cares?
This is our advantage over Alabama. Let Alabama get dumb and fat, eating their white barbecue sauce from Big Bob Gibson's over there.
They eat mayo.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Mayo.
It is just, I love barbecue, and white barbecue sauce is the grossest thing I've ever heard of. Only Alabama is gonna be like, nope. We can't have brown barbecue sauce. Got to be white. Got to have white barbecue sauce. Can't have brown.
No, they're like, gotta be mayo. I mean, like, seriously, Bama people love mayo. I almost cussed about it.
Yeah, Anyhow, so let
I think this could be the year of upsets, maybe.
Let Bama get dumb and fat on the white barbecue sauce, and let Georgia State just keep doing it right, eating some lean chicken. I don't know what you're supposed to eat.
I'm not just saying for
obviously, I'm not
though.
the one that knows how to stay in shape, but like maybe we can use this whole thing for our advantage towards Bama.
I think it could just be an advantage for all, G5 teams. This could be a year of upsets. Maybe the P5 teams are getting fat and lazy, and the G5 teams are still working.
Yeah, that was actually something that I put down to talk about. I didn't know where to talk about it, but I figured it would come up in conversation. So, way to go, Tim. You did it within the first few minutes of this. I think there's gonna be some things that just change. There's gonna be some wild cards, some things we're not expecting to happen, not just in college athletics, but in just people's daily routines and lives and companies and everything like that coming out of this, which would be really cool. Maybe you're right. Maybe we'll see a G5 just kind of come through and decimate through the whole program, or maybe a blue chip. I guess more realistically is to see a big Power 5 program that just can't put it together this season.
It's one of my theories is that in general, like you said, businesses might happen to athletics and things like that. That this is sort of like one of those. It's like a brush fire, and it's the fire happens, and then you get this like new growth, and it could be from anywhere, and we don't know what good will come of this, and there could be some. So
so obviously, don't want to talk about the good too much because obviously there's a lot of bad coming out of this right now.
Sure.
Life and the economy and all that jazz. But yeah, there's going to be things that come out that are good, and maybe they would have been good in the first place, but this kind of like just dusted it off and it made it more visible to see, being able to get a margarita from the local Mexican place down the street.
That's right.
Really the priority about anything is where I can get my booze.
It's always on the secret menu, David. You just didn't know it.
What was that, Ryan? Sorry.
It's always on the secret menu.
Secret menu? Yeah.
Right.
You order like something totally random. You're like, I don't want to need that. No cilantro. And that means that they're going to give you a double dose margarita.
Or shots of tequila.
Cilantro.
I would do that too because cilantro is absolutely disgusting. And I will order everything without cilantro. And even if it doesn't come with it on there, it's like, just don't even make my food in the same room that cilantro exists. Even if it's in a refrigerator, like over by somebody else over here, no, just no cilantro.
It's funny. I sort of think it tastes like soap, but I also think it's really good. So I know.
I only think it tastes like soap when I actually think about it and I'm eating it.
So
I'm just eating it. It doesn't taste like soap.
I was never like a person that would eat anything green in general, and so I never ordered cilantro on anything. And there were things in the Mexican restaurants that I liked or didn't like, or I liked this taco from this place, but I didn't like the exact same taco from another place. Maybe it was cilantro, but I didn't know about this whole thing that cilantro is like a DNA thing where you're genetically disposed to liking or not liking it. And till I heard about it. But I do remember once I go to Moe's all the time to get a burrito, and one day I was like, put that cilantro on there. I'm going to try to mix this up between my just cheese and meat that I put on a burrito. And I was like, this isn't good. I don't specifically remember soap, but I remember going, this isn't good. And I do remember eating salsa at some restaurants that like little leafy greens in there. I'm like, this isn't good. So I don't like cilantro. I don't know.
I thought it was soap. I thought that's generally what people taste when they don't like it.
But some soaps smell different than other soaps. So does it smell like a certain soap? It's like Irish Spring?
No. That smells wonderful. That's what I use. So
is Zest still a soap?
Probably.
I think so.
Zest Fully Clean commercials back in the probably either late 80s, early 90s,
Yeah,
when you guys were still in your cribs.
Late 80s,
basically.
early 90s, yeah. I'm 85, so.
Yeah. So if we can't start the season on time, or if we can't get the practices in, the early practices in, and we still say game start September or whatever it is. What I don't what is the start this season? Do we have an August start or a September start? I don't even know.
It's like August 29th. I
Okay,
think.
yeah. So if we can't get the August 29th start,
Yeah.
if we do get the August 29th start, but we miss like some of these. Obviously, we've already missed like the spring camp stuff and the July workouts and everything. I mean, that does not bode well for us. We're in a quarterback battle right now. You know, we don't know who's going to be taking snaps from center at this point. So you kind of want to have as much time as possible to figure out who you're going to have before we face Murray State. Is that who it is this week, this year?
I mean, that's if you believe that we don't know who's going to be quarterback, right? Like the coaches have some kind of idea, and that person was getting some amount of practice, especially while Dan was hurt, and we didn't know if he was going to be out any given time.
Well, there's also the freshmen coming in as well that maybe starting. Well, Michael?
Not if he doesn't practice.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we may not know who the best quarterback is come August 29th. So I don't know. But I think that could hurt us if we miss out on practices. A team in the situation that we are currently and looking for help at the quarterback position or replacing I don't know. I love Nick so much, but I'm really hard. I'm trying to find a way to say that Dan's not as good as Nick. Dan may be the best quarterback we've ever had.
Healthy Dan. Healthy Dan is.
They both have the heart. They both have the heart for sure. But it's just so hard to say. Is we had both of them, and I'll throw Connor in there as well. Just such craptacular first seasons, and then such great second seasons. And if Dan had not gotten injured, I don't think there's any question we'd say that Dan was the best quarterback we've ever had.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question for me. So
you think Dan's the best?
Yeah, and he was electric to watch too. The problem was he's less of a game manager. So like Nick was a little bit more boring to watch because he was like.
Oh no, Nick was not boring to watch because Nick
was fun.
He fling the ball.
Connor.
I'm gonna fling that ball like it's nobody's business. Nick was so much fun. Well, and for me specifically, I think Ryan, I think both of you guys are a little bit more of a student of the game than I am. Because I'm not a student of the game whatsoever at all. I'm the guy outside of school smoking a cigarette with some random homeless dude. I'm not a student of anything when it comes to football. I'm just a fan of the program. And Nick would just fling that ball and make it passing games exciting. Running games fun, but passing games exciting.
Well, and when he did run, he'd hit like a tight end. Like he'd roll his shoulder in, and you're like, some part of you is like, hey man, you're the quarterback, you should just slide and like not get hit. But then also another part of you is like, yeah, just like wreck that guy.
You're talking about Dan?
Nick would wreck a guy.
Oh yeah,
kind of big.
Yeah, because Dan would just run past anybody.
Dan would miss a guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick. Both of the guys had no fear whatsoever at all. They were great. Both. Yeah.
I mean, I would say you got Connor was your game manager, right? Like he was very good at the right thing. You got Ellington, just electric, like can beat people you shouldn't beat, right? And then you have Arbuckle, gunslinger. I mean,
Arbuckle. He was compared to Brett Favre from the very beginning, and I'm on board with that. Yeah, so maybe Connor's like you said, your game manager. You're more like sit back and assess the game type thing, and then Dan just electric feet, arms, whatever. You never know what's going to happen. But
so that's I do want to be like super clear. I said Nick is less exciting than Dan. I didn't say he wasn't exciting to watch.
Okay.
Context is everything, and relative is everything.
Yeah, Nick was fun to watch. Dan was fun to watch. Connor got us our only bowl win.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love Dan's style though, because like you said, he had the arm and the legs to do it, and like He
And
would
the
make
brain.
this when he was running, and he would sling that ball. Like, it was great.
But he knew what he was doing. He knew the defense. He knew when he could run and get away with something. He was something else, for sure. But let's see, who else was talking crap about us playing or about football happening this season? We got how about Kirk Herbstreit? He's dumb. Brett McMurphy, not that bright as well. There was
Brett's generally okay.
yeah. Well, I just didn't like his little like just negative style headline that makes it sound worse than it is.
Well, it was so. What stood out to me about the headline, we shouldn't delve too deep into it, but immediately I was like, did he just put a fraction of a fraction in there? Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, this is a very small amount of people saying a very.
I want to say that somebody replied to his tweet with the whole like it works 100% of the time, 60% of the time, or
Yeah, exactly.
10% of the
Yeah.
time type thing. Yeah.
But you know what? Like, they're just sitting at home too, and they're like looking for stuff to talk about, and like they cannot.
And that's fine. That's fine. But I guess my argument is why you got to go negative with everything. Why is it got to be one out of 5 college ads are saying we're not going to have football? Why not it be something like we think we're going to have a football?
80% say yes. Yeah.
He needed the tagline. He needed the story.
And he got a bunch of Twitter responses. He got us talking about him, and obviously, if we're talking about him, the world's talking.
It's working.
About him. So he got what he wanted out of the whole thing, right?
Can you imagine the ad revenue he's going to get based on us talking about him?
I mean,
it's gonna be huge.
I can't imagine what that number even looks like.
I don't think I've got enough fingers to count the clicks. So
yeah.
There's an interview with the Sunbelt commish whole thing, and I guess we talked about this a little bit already. The delay in the season, he basically said, I guess one of his big things was all the conferences are going to make some suggestions on what should happen, and we'll all talk about it and figure out the best course of action. Basically, meaning was, to me, the way I took that was, well, we'll wait for the SEC and the ACC. We'll wait for the P5 to tell us what's going to happen, because we're not in a position to say, sorry, Alabama, we're not playing you, but give us that $1 million check anyways. So I don't think the Sun Belt's in any position to really make any decisions on what's going to happen with college football this season whatsoever at all.
I'm pretty sure G5 teams don't even get a vote in the NCAA. Like,
I think it's one of those kind of things where they get a vote, but it's like based off of like your overall conference revenue or something like that. Like, has how many votes you get. It's basically the P5 control the votes and the G5s don't. I'm making that up, really.
It's like the PAC board, though. You know, you guys can vote to do whatever you want, but they're just like, oh yeah, nice, yeah, do that.
Well, that's assuming that the P5 is on the PAC board and not just the university itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Could the G5 conferences pull all their revenue together, and they could get some portion of a vote?
Yeah, we got our vote. We made our say, and our vote was still pay us.
We want money, please.
I have a real issue with this whole not play the out of conference schedule.
I don't like it.
Why would that even be a conversation? Because all right, so we don't want fans to be around each other, so we'll take 4 of the games and say, yeah, let's gonna knock those out. But you're still gonna have fans that show up.
You're still gonna have 4 games. Yeah,
games. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's dumb.
And it's like the same fan.
I guess my thing. Stop saying dumb stuff. Stop saying dumb stuff. There's about legit solutions to this, not just we'll found some difference in types. All right, we'll only do home games. Yeah, only home games. Nobody will play any away games.
David,
because we know everybody at our school.
Doesn't matter the outcome. You have to do something, right, to say that you did something.
Yeah, say that you're stupid.
Man, I guess I get it. You know, you just delay the season until October, right?
Yeah. But even then, you don't. If you're delaying for something like that, you still don't know. Like, what if you say, all right, we're going to push everything back 2 months. Well, what happens 2 months later when you're like, we're still not ready to let people play games?
It's a 4-game season.
Yeah, right. Well, but no, I like the idea of playing all of the games, pushing everything back. Like everything gets pushed back. Like we're gonna have college football kicks off on Thanksgiving,
Fine.
and we play through, I don't know, that St. Patrick's. We play through Easter. We play through something weird like that. It would just create a whole new weird dynamic, like a once in a lifetime opportunity, hopefully once in a lifetime opportunity to see traditional sports have been going on for over 100 years played in a way that's completely different than everything else. I mean,
Yeah.
if we have the ability to actually play these games, late or delayed, it could be a cool thing. It could be a really, really neat experience to be able to say, I remember 50 years ago when we were playing the national championship on July 4th, and the next season started 2 months later.
It's better be on their whiteboard somewhere.
I got this notification from ESPN. I didn't read it at the time, but I couldn't find the article later on. But it was talking about baseball, and someone had proposed an idea that would still have all 162 games, which is way too many games, but all 162 games played delayed with the World Series happening between Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And I love that idea. That would be awesome. It'd be so weird. And hopefully not a game that's going to be played in, it'd be played in Truist Park, just so it's irrelevant.
Well, and that's like football time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's super football time.
I feel like I've spent maybe not every Christmas and maybe not every New Year's, but I've definitely spent a few watching football.
Yeah. We always do. So we'll have like our family dinner and then football.
Oh, no, I was making a joke about you saying that was football time.
What?
I was making fun of you, Ryan.
Oh, I didn't understand. You just said you watch football during that time. It didn't seem like a joke.
All right, yeah, right over his head. Yeah. Even though there's those flowing locks he has right now, he couldn't catch that joke.
Man, you need to get a haircut. What's going on?
I was asking David if he knew where any black market haircutteries were.
Yeah, you get the Target curbside pickup, a little trimmer, and just.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, looking at your hair.
The wrong crowd right here.
I was laughing though because my neighbors they own a salon, but they don't cut hair. So.
Where it's like, okay, I don't care about your neighbors.
You're like, can you make an exception? Can you cut my hair?
What else you guys?
To connect it, he also works at Georgia State. So.
Well, there you go. Now we can talk about it. Oh, there's something back to that Advocate article. So the Arlington AD was comparing everything going on right now to 9/11, and it just struck me at first because I'm kind of like, oh wow, massive terrorist attack on the country, people getting sick. But actually, I wrote this all down, and then I was like walking through the house today when the news was on, like, oh, we've now had more people die from coronavirus in the U.S. than died on 9/11. I'm like, oh, well, I guess he was a little right about that, but it still feels weird to compare this to that.
Yeah.
But to his defense, what he was basically saying was when that happened, the event happened, and now we're in the aftermath of that. How do we handle everything after what had happened?
Right.
Whereas with right now, we're kind of like, what the hell's going on, dude? We've got no idea what's going on. We don't know when everything's going to be finalized or be stable enough again.
Right. I mean, one thing, the other going to take a long time, right? I mean, they're not comparable except if you want to be sensationalist and go.
Which I'm sure he was just trying to relate it to another experience he's had in his career, and the journalist was like, the journalist was, we're going to put that in there just to have like that bullet point that says 9/11. Also, he did 9-11. I feel like 9/11 is always 9/11.
Right.
I don't know.
I fixate on really weird things. They really bother me. I may be obsessive compulsive. I'm not sure. Let's see. You guys got anything? I still got other stuff, but I thought this was interesting. App State say that they'll be saving tens of thousands. I guess we're saying the same thing. Saving almost $100,000 on this. Same thing. And, Arlington had some international players trying to get back home when all this was happening. They got stuck in Florida and couldn't fly back to their home countries.
Yeah, stuck in
Really?
Florida. Ugh.
Well, well, and they're college players, so they probably can't even like go to the airplane or the airplane bar, the airport bar or anything. Yeah, it's funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, that sounds like misery. There's probably some cool places in Florida you could get stuck, but probably wasn't anywhere they were.
Well, you're probably in an airport, so it doesn't matter if you're in South Beach if you're sitting in the Miami airport. You know,
You can leave and come back.
Yeah. There's really nothing around it. You don't really want to leave it.
No.
Nothing good around it.
It's not that good itself, honestly. It's like when you go down there, I feel like you go down there for an event or a certain thing, a certain experience, and that's great. But everything else around it is kind of like, wow, people live down here. Like this is like their normal life. Like why? I mean, I guess Tim, you're from Florida, right? So
Yeah, I grew up down there.
yeah. So and you live here now because you're smart.
Yeah, I would. I always tell people I would retire to the west coast of Florida, but the east coast, South Florida, nope.
No, not happening.
I would-
mall after strip mall after strip mall.
Well, the East Coast is more of like I guess Panhandle and East Coast are your party sides, and your West Coast is your retirement side, right?
Pretty much.
Family side, retirement side.
Minus Tampa.
Tampa's. I heard
Tampa.
Tampa smells like mothballs.
I will say that when I did my cruise, we stopped at Key West first, and I loved it. I loved Key West. It was weird and like
They're different.
they like embraced the weirdness, and it was everything I want in like a really shitty beach town.
Well, I think the Key West is its own thing. Like
It's its own thing.
I've been to Key West, but I was young. I was a kid. I don't know if I was 10 years old or not. Yeah, it was a family deal, whatever. But I always just kind of saw Key West as kind of like it's Florida, but it's like a part of Florida that not even Florida cares about.
I mean, it's the Conch Republic. They literally were disowned by the Union at a time, and they called themselves the Conch Republic.
Yeah. And then they have all their weird parties and their strange things. But I think
They do.
Chickens,
We're
gypsy
bringing-
chickens everywhere.
we're bringing
Chickens are everywhere on the island.
We're bringing our own Key West to Atlanta because they're building a Margaritaville Tower in Atlanta in Midtown right now. It broke ground on it.
Boy,
You know about this, Ryan?
no.
I know about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, there's like a tower that's kind of like a rooftop pool bar that's a Margaritaville. Dream about it, Margaritaville.
Awesome. We'll have to do a live podcast from there.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant idea.
Sponsorship.
We've got to. I mean, it probably won't be open for like 2, maybe 3 years, but who knows if we'll have football by then to even talk about. So we'll be some content at that point.
Whoa! Don't talk about that.
There was when I was in Key West, we went up on the lighthouse and there was a picture, and they were like, "Do you see this mountain off in the distance?" And yeah, I could see it. And they were like, "That's all garbage. We used to send our garbage to this island, and there's now a mountain. It is the highest point, and the highest point in Key West is this like mound of garbage. It's great."
I feel like that's a Pixar movie waiting to happen right
I
there.
know, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't compare anything to Key West. I don't think that's comparable.
It's like not even Florida. It's just its own beast.
It's like
It is.
you still have to live by the same laws of Florida and the U.S.
Do you?
Kinda. It's like basically if all the cops live on the mainland. So as long as you stop whatever you're doing that's bad before they make it through like the 7 Mile Bridge and the 11 Mile Bridge and whatever, like you're probably fine. It takes them a long time to get there. And then like Arnold Schwarzenegger blew it up in True Lies. So
True.
I think that movie came out after I went there. Yeah.
Did you hit Garden of Eden? Right.
Garden of Eden.
No, Garden of Eden?
Yeah.
I've
No.
read that book of the
Yeah.
Bible.
You can Google it on your free time.
No, we were only there for a certain number of hours during the day. So if it was something that would be more of an evening activity,
Yeah. Probably more even. You can go during the day, but I mean,
but it's weird. It's like the B Squad.
yeah.
So I kind of touched on this earlier, but I wanted to bring it up for one reason because it talks about us a lot. Forbes had an article that the mid-majors need to be paid first by the NCAA before sports get cut. So we were talking about sports getting cut and all that jazz. I think it may have said it was an Advocate article, but it was Forbes. And this actually is an interview with Charlie Cobb. Like, they're talking about how this affects Georgia State, or using Georgia State as a basis for other mid-major programs on everything. And it was pretty cool. It actually painted Charlie in a good light, which is good. Well,
He's a good guy. It's not hard to paint a good light.
But no, it was posted on Panther Talk. Forget who posted it, but it got like no traction, like no comments. Nobody said anything about it at all. But there's an entire article in Forbes that was just talking to Charlie, an interview with Charlie, effectively, about
Interesting, yeah,
how the whole mid-major thing and this is getting cut, the money getting cut, how it affects schools using us as a basis.
Good exposure.
Yeah, no, yeah. Which is kind of funny because it came out after we'd already lost and we were not going to make it to the tournament. We were out.
That game doesn't count. We're in it just as much as anybody else.
But he made
Didn't happen.
He made a
Didn't
comment.
happen.
The mid-majors are the lifeblood of the tournament because all the Cinderella teams are what really draw people in.
That's what people tune in for. That's right.
Because people take off days of those first couple of days, take off of work every year.
Yeah, nobody wants to see Duke win. You see that every year, you know?
Just those 8 fans they have. But yeah. And then another comment, we talked about the eligibility. Did we talk about that? Like everybody getting another year of eligibility this spring?
We didn't.
All right.
We didn't.
NCAA rules that all these kids affected by this, the spring sports, get another year of eligibility. But honestly, that actually hurts the mid-major programs even more because that's more money to spend for these kids. But then at the same time, we don't actually have to honor it. We can be like, yeah, but sorry, your senior plus year, we're not going to pay for your school. Bye.
Could we? I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I think so.
I don't know how the verbiage of the contract of the scholarship works, you know?
Well, from what I read, I think you can ditch them. But I don't know. The whole article was basically that the P5 or I guess the majors, because it's different in basketball, really owe it to the mid-majors to make sure that the mid-majors are taken care of before any financial money comes back to the P5s. And I think, Ryan, you and I are pretty much on the same page and stuff like that. I'm like, no, they don't.
Yeah, pretty much.
But what do you think, Tim?
I mean, they don't owe us anything.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. They built themselves up, right? That's good for them. But so we don't deserve a handout, you know? I mean, I'd be happy if they were generous and they wanted to pay the G5s first.
Well, it'd be great if Georgia would actually come play us in the sports arena. Like, that's their handout. Like, all right, cool, we'll come play in the sports arena. Or we'll come play at State Farm or something like that.
I mean, they get to decide that for themselves if that's good for their programs or not. And if it's not, then they won't do it.
I agree.
How about they just build our baseball stadium for us?
That'd be great too.
That's like a drop in the bucket to them.
Yeah, they lose more paying for sexual harassment lawsuits than it would cost to build us a baseball stadium, right? I don't know if that's true or not. There was just that one guy that one time, right?
Let's just make it up. Yeah, it's fine.
It's true now because I said it. All right, so another big thing that came out yesterday was there was some leaked picture of a new logo for the Sun Belt because the other logo we had is 6 years old and obviously is too old for this conference.
Outdated.
Yeah, so I guess there was some event at South Alabama's indoor facility, and someone was caught. Someone did a screen capture of a video or something like that there, so we saw what the new logo looked like. So from what I hear, new commissioner wants a new logo, but having a new logo does not mean it's got to be a better logo. It could just be a different logo.
Yeah.
So Tim, I think you're going to take the wheel on this one and show us what was found on that's down in Mobile over the weekend.
So let's take a look.
And for all you people just listening, you got to go on YouTube so you can see this.
Gotta go to YouTube. Check it out.
We'll describe it. All right. So I guess our old logo was just that little pinwheel thing, but this one is just the letters SBC, right? We're looking
Well,
at-
with a sunburst in the B, as the top hole of the B.
Yeah.
And then it's like half one color and half your other color, essentially.
yeah, so it's red, white, and blue. So we basically assume that, like the pinwheel, that we're going to be getting college-specific colors for each university.
This was always a hang up for me. Even when they redid the other one, I'm like, why are we doing a specific Sunbelt logo for every school? Just do one logo that's not any school's colors and put that on the field, like for
Well,
everyone.
I kind of liked it when they did the logo with different school colors. Problem was they didn't pick the right color for Georgia State. They had that blue and the black in there, and black's not a color. It was horrible. So yeah, I didn't like that part. I thought it was kind of interesting, at least a new approach. Now that they're restarting everything, I don't know if it's necessary to do school-specific colors, but a Twitter user, Michael Gleaton, decided that he was going to just mock up based off of this what he thought that the different schools' logos would look like. And Tim, let's see what he came up with.
Yeah, sure.
It's sort of my thing, though, is that if we can't trust them to do a pinwheel, maybe we just shouldn't trust them at all to do any of this stuff. And, like, let's just say, you come up with one marketing strategy.
Well, that'd be great, but we know that, well, we think that they're not doing that, so
Well, yeah.
talk about it.
Based on this, I would imagine not, because it is South Alabama colors. So.
Right. Because that was my first take when I saw this, was like, oh, are we going red, white, and blue? It kind of gave me a Conference USA vibe from the whole
Right.
thing. I was like, wait a minute, this is South Alabama. That's their colors. Maybe they're doing the exact same thing all over again.
Yeah.
So for the old pinwheel logo, I guess you can call it old now, right? We know we're changing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Southern's logo was screwed up too, and they complained and got theirs changed.
Yeah.
While we
Just went along with the blue and black, which is
said, "Sure, that sounds good. It's close enough."
I doubt we even said that. We just said, okay, all right. So here we go. So here is this is a lot of Georgia State in there as well, because we made our own little adjustments. I went back and forth with Michael Gleaton on Twitter last night, complaining about his use of gray, the row 2, column 1. That's what he came up. Row 1, column 2. That's what Twitter user Michael Gleaton came up with as our version of it, which I didn't like. But you can see up the first one there is App State, and then you got Coastal Carolina, some other Georgia State stuff, and then you can see where they are. Tim went and labeled them and everything. So that gray one is what he came up with, and I didn't care for that at all. He came back with the black and the blue, which are row 1, column 4 and 5. The blue I like. The all blue, I'm on board for. Like,
yeah, it looks a little funny because it looks like two different shades of blue.
This is it. Whatever he did, but if they're going to do this logo, which we can talk about whether we like it or not. If they're going to do this logo for us, I like that better than doing a two-tone color like the gray was they initially had for us.
Yeah.
Agreed? Or
totally. Let's just do all blue. I mean, I'm wearing the all blue all in right now.
There you go.
Boom.
But so if we wanted to include the blue and white, I asked my wife, who's very, very creative, if she would come up with something like this with an outline, which maybe is similar to what Southern did with their little pinwheel deal, but that's why I wanted to get ahead of it up front. So this is my idea of what we should use to get blue and white in the logo. And she actually went through as well and fixed it, because the B was actually not as wide as the C if you look at the other logos that were out there.
I noticed that. That was kind of weird. It seems strange that one letter is squished between the other two.
But I think that
isn't belt technically not a separate word? Isn't it Sunbelt like one word?
it is one word, no space, but it is a capitalization. No, what somebody online noticed about this that I thought was cool or interesting, or actually just worthy of talking about, is that B kind of looks like a 6, as if we are saying that we are the 6th power conference.
It's just, sure. I noticed that the sun is missing a ray right down the center right here. I don't know.
I don't know. Was that on the original picture that was taken? Did it have the ray down the down center? Because this is not.
It didn't have it. No,
No,
you
it does
can
not
see
have
it's
it.
missing.
So this
Yeah.
was just what the Twitter guy did. This is not anything that was like official by any stretch. This is just his thoughts on it. So, what do you guys think of doing all of this? All of this. What are your thoughts on that?
First off, it looks like it's from the 70s.
Right.
I think this was a tweet picture from somewhere. This is probably Windows 95. I think that's too forward thinking. I think Clippy's too new for this logo. This logo is definitely Windows 3.0, maybe 3.1. I don't know. I feel like it's from the 70s. It looks really weird.
Yeah, well, I don't mind it looking old if it actually like has some kind of significance, but it's a stretch. I'm not a fan of it, but if they're going to do this and they're going to do school-specific colors, I wanted us to get ahead of it. So I tweeted out to Sunbelt and Charlie Cobb today saying that the all blue or the blue outline is what we would want. I decided to speak on behalf of all of Georgia State fans out there because I just don't want to have the blue and black or blue and gray or something like that. If they come out with something better, by all means, that's awesome.
The all blue is the right move, I think.
I think so too.
And that's not something that I had thought about originally. The Michael Gleaton guy came up with that. That does look better. That does look a lot better.
I am surprised at the internet that no one has made this little sun the coronavirus.
All right.
I mean, they've done the Windows 95 thing, which is pretty cool, but it's just dying for someone to take it and change the sun into coronavirus.
So let's wait until they come out with the school branded ones. And Tim, that's your job to do the Southern one, is to make it the coronavirus.
I was going to say it might be like hashtag too soon.
Yeah, probably. Sorry, too soon. They actually hate this, by the way, down south.
Well, apparently, I guess gold is not one of their official colors. They just use it in a lot of their stuff or something. I don't know.
I really thought it was.
This is actually what the Sunbelt tried to do with the pinwheel to them, and they rejected it and made it basically kind of just what your wife made, right?
Right.
They
Kinda
used
like
white.
this.
Yeah, they used navy and white, right?
Yeah, they use an outline on the little leaves or whatever you call it. So, yeah. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting a new logo change whatsoever at all. But
I gotta say,
the branding using SBC as a brand versus Sunbelt, I do like better. Obviously, it sounds like SEC, but Sunbelt just sounds horrible. So I like SBC better than Sunbelt.
Well, it sounds like the tractor rental company.
Sunbelt Rentals sounds like the rental company.
Yeah,
I like it better. I like using SBC better. I'm not saying that I like this logo better than what we have already.
Well, I would much rather hashtag SBC than hashtag Funbelt.
Oh, I know. Somebody actually put on the CSN board, the Sunbelt board, can we just change the name of the conference to Funbelt? And I'm like, I really hope you're joking. But considering the schools that are in our conference, they're as intelligent to think that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, we'd have to be out immediately. Like, I'd just rather be independent than be part of the Funbelt.
Independent, that's a good topic to talk about. But remember that, because I'll forget about it. Maybe we should talk about the struggles of being independent at some point in this off season, which we could talk about it maybe November in the off season.
I mean, so when it really comes down to it, like the Sunbelt logo is not something that is going to matter just at all. You know, I mean, it's been on the field for however long, and I can't tell you how many times I haven't looked at it because it was basically 100% of the time.
Right.
So
also, I don't like looking at that stupid blue and black pinwheel. But
if you liked the logo, would you look at it more? I mean,
I'm not gonna look at it at all. I'm
exactly.
gonna look at Dan Ellington running around everybody. But
that's right.
I feel like we should have corrected the logo before we got it, the first one. Yeah, so this is a chance to fix it before it's wrong.
That was the win that Southern got over us. I'll say it is they saw something that did not fit with their branding, and they addressed it and they had it corrected. We did not do that. And was it still Cheryl, or had Cobb already come in at that point? can't remember.
2013. So
I mean, Cheryl got us, but did Cheryl? I can't remember if Cheryl even like was there for a single Sunbelt game at all.
I don't know. She
Well,
was buddies with Carl, so
no, because we played a year of like probation Sunbelt before Southern was even involved, so she was probably already gone. Either way, I just wanted to get ahead of it, and I did not want us to get stuck with a blue and black logo again. Whether we like it or not, I didn't want to get stuck with it. So I should say, whether we like the new logo design, I didn't want to get stuck with a bad version of it for us.
fair.
is there any chance that you have a PAC meeting where you can get this fixed?
No PAC meeting coming up. Everything's been canceled.
You could vote to have it fixed, but it wouldn't matter.
Also, the PAC has no authority on anything whatsoever at all. It's this figment of your
You're going to
imagination.
bring facts into this whole argument. I don't like it.
It ruins everything, doesn't it? All right. Anything else on the logo? I'm ready to move on. I think we can start wrapping up everything here a little bit. Oh, okay. We got another big topic to talk about. Dang it. Hey, Ryan, how long have we been going? You have your timer going?
Hell no, I don't.
Okay, there we go.
Whoa, it's going to be a 2-hour
I
episode.
thought about it probably 15 minutes in. I was like, I didn't start it, and then I just didn't.
All right. Well, there's a couple of quick points on some players with the university. We got a kicker. We have a
Kicker.
football team.
Hell yeah.
Which is
Sounds
big-
like a good one too.
Sounds like it could be a good player to pull in. Yeah, NC A&T. He was the first team all conference for the Meek. Noel. Noel Ruiz. Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah, and he was a 3-star coming out of high school.
Everyone can stop freaking out about who the hell is going to be kicking the ball now because we got Noel.
Yeah, no, that's kind of why I thought it was exciting when I brought it up. Was like, we didn't know what we were gonna do, and I think that the kicking position in general is underrated. They are the highest scoring players on the team
In general.
generally.
Yep.
And so you don't want to just have that be an afterthought. I mean, we know how that is. Like
I think
preying on extra points. You shouldn't have to. They should be automatic.
Yeah, the kicker is also a bit of a commodity. I mean, they're considered a bit of a commodity, and so you can always pick somebody up that can kick a ball through the straight and narrows. Like I don't know.
Yeah, you think that, but like Bama's had problems with it. We've had problems with it. Like schools that don't sacrifice a scholarship on it, like they pay.
Right. No. I kind of felt like we would figure something out. You can find someone to kick the ball, and also historically we haven't been that great. So
Yeah.
are we?
I don't know, man. Ian Vance, he's still like one of the best. He might be one of the better in like modern day history of college football.
I don't even know who you're
That
talking
was good.
So
Yeah.
Noel, right? He could, with our season getting delayed, he'd be perfect Christmas gift, right?
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
Noel.
That was such a stretch.
All right.
Well, I was thinking like a chant whenever he comes out for a point after a field goal, just Noel, 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 Noel. I don't know.
That's a familiar chant of Delaney United. I love it. So yeah,
You would love it. All right, I want to retract that. Also, basketball. Josh Linder left the program. I think that was announced the day after we recorded the episode last week. But I think it kind of follows the same thing. Cavante Ivory. He saw the writing on the wall. Not going to get the playing time, so he's out. It did spur a little bit of a debate on Panther Talk about like Coach Hunter didn't drop players or encourage players to transfer or leave. He stuck with them. I don't know about all of that. I think when you see better talent coming in and your minutes are going to go down and you want to have a career or have a chance to play, you see the writing on the wall, you take off. So I don't know. It didn't bother me at all. It sucks. I liked him, but if we're going to get better without him, we get better without him, right?
This is basketball.
Yes.
Yeah. Brian, you
ball.
can tap out on this one, and Tim and I can talk for a minute.
What?
I think it's fine. I mean, we have a lot of talent that's coming on board, sitting out a year. I mean, I don't know. It's more just writing on the wall. Kind of your minutes are going to be minuscule. If you want to play more, it's not going to happen here. You
Right.
know?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's the same. It's the same. I see it as the same conversation that we had last week about Cavante. So it's not that big of a deal. It sucks, but I want to see more players spend their entire career with us. But
But
yeah.
if you're not willing to, then move on. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, but I understand where he's coming from. I get it, and I wish him the best. Like just like any player that plays for Georgia State, wish him the best, even if they have to take off. If that's what's best for them.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you could do well somewhere else. You know.
yeah, for sure. So we've talked a lot tonight. I wasn't expecting to go this long so far, but there was another big topic that I wanted to cover before we headed on off. And there were two. We talked about this last week. There were two big um, off-season poll fun things on Twitter and Instagram over the week that we were at least I was getting big into. I think I was texting both Tim and Ryan. I don't think Ryan replied to anything, but Tim and I had a good
Probably
conversation going on.
I clicked on links and voted.
Well, you did your part.
I think I retweeted one or two of them.
There you go. Anyhow, so this is what we talked about before. There was a poll about a bracket on the best G5 accomplishments, achievements, and then there was also one on March Madness upsets or just iconic moments. I think was actually the phrase they used. The cool thing was the March Madness one actually came from the NCAA. It was the March Madness account that was doing this whole thing, and so the shot got added to it and did great. Made it to the Elite Eight, which was, awesome. We talked about this at the time that the shot's going to be a legendary thing that's going to get replayed forever. I mean, when you have a coach's son hitting a 3-pointer to take a lead and dad falls off his chair, it's a pretty cool story. I don't know. We kind of RJ pretty much killed it throughout this entire round, or this voting. 63% vote in the first round, 63% vote in the second round, a tight third round, 50-50, which I guess I thought we lost that one, but I guess they were including Twitter and Instagram votes together.
They were.
And so
we won by Instagramming.
Yeah, Instagram won it for us. And that was Loyola Chicago buzzer beater versus Miami just 2 years ago against Miami. So in 2018. So that was cool. But then we had to go up against the 16 seed that beats the 1 seed. And there was no shot of that.
Yeah, it's tough to beat UMBC, and they're actually going on to the Final Four.
Yeah.
That happens when you win an Elite 8 game as you go on to the Final Four.
When you enter a tournament, you eventually have to face the terrible, like, this probably should win,
right?
Which would be the 16 beating a 1.
I don't pay a lot
hard to beat
attention to college basketball outside of Georgia State, but so from what I hear, or from what somebody said online, is that UMBC was kind of misseeded in the tournament. Maybe they shouldn't have been a 16 seed. But even if it's a 13 or a 10 beating a 1, that's still a massive accomplishment.
Well, and you have to look at it and say, like, okay, a 16 has never beaten a 1 before, but, like, a 16 has been misseeded before. They just still haven't beaten the 1.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, it was fun. It was a good ride. I liked the whole thing, but when we got to that matchup, it was kind of evident that we're probably not going to.
Was it bad? Was it bad?
It was bad. We
lost 79-21.
Yeah,
79-21.
But we
wasn't good.
We got a little push. We Tim and I kind of did what we could to get some people to do some stuff to vote. But yeah.
So wow, I get no credit. I'm pretty sure I retweeted it.
Well, you didn't talk to us about it, so you get no credit whatsoever at all. Not here at least. You can take your credit to Twitter and let everyone tell you how great you are there, but here you got nothing.
I also am pretty sure in that same chat I said it matters who is sharing it.
Yeah, and Georgia State Athletics got on board with March Madness pretty early. Group of 5 guys. They did not get on until later on. They were pretty excited about getting the school on it. But so now I guess the
Good.
March Madness one is still going on. It's
Yep.
UMBC versus Trey Burke's 2013 shot and Chris Jenkins versus Illinois. I don't even know what those things are. I'm not even talking about.
Yeah, no. Basically, the people who beat us should win the whole thing.
They might.
Is what I think.
It's that impactful of a win.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well I think so. I think that's the most iconic moment. Like if you go on to some of the message boards and stuff like that, they'll always. It's kind of like the Falcons 28-3 thing. They keep on bringing up like let's not forget about a 16 seed beating UVA 1 seed. It's very very iconic. So yeah, that's the one that deserves a win.
I
On the other side,
I get a text message every year on 328 from a former coworker.
is it Patriots fan?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't worked at this company since 2017, and I thought this year would be, there's other things to think about. No,
No.
multiple text message memes all throughout the day.
Well, I don't know.
So wait. Like on a personal note, is this from my company that you used to work at? Okay, all right.
No, that whole 23 thing, like obviously it hurt, it stung so bad. But when we played the Saints the following season and they flew that 28-3 banner over the tailgate, whatever.
The Saints game, right?
That was the moment that it stopped bothering me because I realized that all those people that were sitting at home on their couch watching the Super Bowl in New Orleans were still fixated on something that we had moved past. And I was like, you know what? Fine. Have it. I don't care anymore. You were not in that game. You were not watching your team play.
Sure.
So, I mean, and also the most Atlanta thing to ever happen in sports. It really, really is. So,
it doesn't get hurt any less, David.
Oh no! I still like every once in a while someone comes up and I'm kind of like, well, we should have a Super Bowl title, but we don't. But it doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah,
I've come to accept that's what Atlanta sports fandom is all about. The other poll, are we good at the March Madness one?
Yeah, it's fine.
We haven't come to the Falcons. I'm assuming we're good with March Madness. The other one was group of 5 guys doing their G5 achievements, which is a little bit of a stretch. They wanted to include all 59 G5 teams and then had obviously a few wild cards in there. But anyhow, we made it to the Final Four of this one, which is great. And I've got to pause this. All right, a little quick pause there for some, I don't know,
technical difficulties.
House issues here in the studios. Anyhow, so I guess
we had a special guest for a small amount of time that no one else gets to
experience and feel.
So we made it Final Four in the group of 5 guys bracket, which is great. We lost to Boise State for their Statue of Liberty play against Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl in whatever year that was. And like I watched that game, but it wasn't. I'm not a Boise State fan. I'm not a Oklahoma fan. So it kind of just got purged from memory. So I actually found a SB Nation like 10-minute little thing about that game, and we lost our little Final Four thing against them. And everyone on Twitter is like how it's such a more iconic thing. I guess it's more iconic. There was a bunch of Southern trolls out on that one. They did not like us advancing as far as we did at all. They were ripping it into. This one guy was like, no one will remember Georgia State beating Tennessee next year, but ESPN will always be playing this Boise State play. I'm like, well, it's kind of a gadget play for a big one. So, yeah, of course they're going to do that.
Well, and ours is a whole game, and theirs is a play.
Right, yeah. So they actually took a big lead in that game and then gave it up. And it took some trickery. There was already a lateral to get them to the top, well, to the down by 1 point. And then there was their Statue of Liberty. It was a ballsy play. I don't disagree with that whatsoever at all. It's a great play. Maybe it's deserving of winning. But in recent memory, our win against Tennessee was pretty freaking iconic.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
time that you and me were standing there like, what are we watching? Is this happening? You know, I mean, it was like to the very end, we were like, people are cheering, and we're just like, I don't know, man. Is this happening? And because it was happening over a long period of time, it wasn't super stressful to non-fans. It was
Right.
stressful to us.
Right.
And that was the first game since we started the podcast. And so we talked about it. It was just you and me, Ryan. We talked about how, it's going to hopefully we come out of it without injuries and things good. Maybe we get a garbage touchdown at the end. But there was a garbage touchdown, and it was
Right.
Tennessee. And you and I are standing there, because there was no sitting at that point.
No,
Standing there at halfway crooks, and we're like, we miscalled the garbage touchdown. It was Tennessee.
Right.
So not to take anything away from Boise State, they had been a powerhouse in the G5 the years leading up to this. They got their moment against Oklahoma, but and not saying that Georgia State rightfully deserved that. Obviously, I'm just being biased on Twitter and everything else.
yeah,
But
no, we deserved it. It's
ah,
all a popularity contest, you know.
no,
It is.
my big problem was what happened in the other side of the bracket. The team that goes on the other side that goes on to win this entire group of 5 guys bracket is App State's win against Michigan.
Which is not even a group of 5.
Not even a group of
Right.
5, not a group of 5 accomplishment whatsoever at all. I said on Twitter that they were still FCS. I'm pretty sure that was still Division I AA. The FCS FBS terms had not even been coined yet. I don't think.
No, I think they had.
Had they?
I'm
Go with
pretty-
me on this. Back me up on this one. Just agree with me for a minute.
I'm gonna have to say it's probably, I don't know.
All right, whatever.
This is
Yeah.
super old, like 84, something like that.
No.
94. I don't know. When was it?
No, it was like 2006,
Yeah.
2007, something like that. Actually, do I write it down? I don't know. No, didn't write it down. So anyhow, App State beats with their little blocked field goal against Michigan, beats out Boise State's
2007.
Liberty. I did think it was kind of funny that one of our games we won, we beat Nevada beats Boise State, 82%, 17%. So we beat a team that beat Boise State, and then we lost to Boise State.
They were FCS in 2007.
Okay, is that when that I
All
mean,
that FCS.
it's irrelevant. But yeah, that was
They
fun.
shouldn't have been in the poll, is what they should. Like the poll should have been G5 only, G5 accomplishments. So Southern shouldn't have been in there for their Florida win.
Right.
App shouldn't have been in there for their Michigan win.
And their defense on that was if the win or the accomplishment, the achievement, whatever it was, made them who they are in the G5 today, then that qualifies. I'm like,
What does that mean? That's subjective too.
that makes no sense. So yeah,
No.
I think it was an App State fan even put online that them beating Michigan is what got them into FBS. That got that invite and everything. Maybe, I don't know, but regardless,
I can tell you from experience that's not
They
true.
have-
because we
they
didn't
have
have that win.
Southern has their 5 or 6 or however many pointless championships in FCS means nothing in FBS right now. That's absolutely pointless. So how does this win? And whatever. Had we beaten Boise State in that Final Four thing and then lost to App State, I would be like just losing my stuff. But whatever. It was a fun little poll. I enjoyed getting on Twitter and Facebook and everything to try to push the votes up. And I think we actually had, Tim, I think we actually had some accomplishments. I think that we can take credit for maybe a win in there, especially that the shot win.
The shot win.
The shot win. I think we could definitely take credit for that one. So
Absolutely. I think
We
we
can
pushed that one over
we
the
can
finish
do our
line.
own, where we like set up our own parameters at some point. That'd be fine.
yeah, I don't know. What do you
People might
got?
think we're cheating
what's
because
your
we're
idea?
Georgia State homers.
All right. Well, unless you guys anything else, I think it's time to close this one out and head over to last call. Got anything else, guys?
Nope.
Nope.
I hope you got something to talk about last call too. I got a few things.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Tim, for being here again. Thanks, everybody, listening. We're going to head over to Last Call. You can give that a listen on Friday for free, or join our Patreon and give it a listen whenever you want to. It's only $3 a month, and helps us kind of push this podcast a little forward, figure out what we're doing, and maybe take this video when we get back together again. Be able to have something that we can all do every week, not just this pandemic thing. Anyhow, regardless, thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you on the other side. Go Panthers.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.